22.
Yeah. Okay. Here we are. Ready. We're ready, Dean. Live on
Welcome to New Thought Live, people. Yeah. Hey, Richard. Good to see you.
You too.
Ah,
What are we going to talk
creatives.
about today?
Creatives. Are you standing porter at the door of thought? Rich, I'll get to that quote in a little bit, but my computer screen just went up. Let me find the stuff that I was going to get. And would you punt for me while I find my computer stuff again with all of the stuff we're going to do today?
Okay. So today we are going to talk about how can we maintain a sense of confidence when so much seems, yes, as Dean was going to say, seems to be going crazy in our world. How can we have the hubris? Going to have to ask Dean about that one, to be happy when it seems that there's that word again, seems again, that the world is being pushed off its axis. So, Dean, you use the word seems, and I love that because everything that you experience in your life isn't real. It's like we make it up as we go along. We're creating what I call this movie of our life, and it seems real to us. However, with the little tweak in our thinking and the way we think and the way we talk about something and act upon something, we can change that. We change the movie of our life every time we say something.
I know that it is all made up because my good friend Rick Tamlin said it's all made up, and he put it on a mug. So it's on a mug, so it must be true. This idea that we're talking about confidence these days, and can you feel confident when you're in a creative storm? Can you feel like you've got that centeredness, that quality of alignment, when there's so much that, like we say, seems to be going off and going awry? This idea of appearances. Do we have, like, can we be happy when you look around and say, oh, there's war and there's famine and there's a rancor between people? How can I have the hubris, which basically means a really egocentric confidence?
Thank you.
How can I have the hubris to be happy and creative when all this stuff is going on, when it seems like the world is kind of going off its axis? So that's that whole idea of right here and right now. What are you experiencing? I pause that you are experiencing your highest and best life right here and right now. It's completely at your disposal, regardless of what seems to be going on, the appearances of what's going on.
Yeah.
And there's Mary Baker Eddy, who was a discoverer and founder of Christian Science, and not exactly a New Thought religion, actually a Christian religion, but of the period of time when all of the New Thought came out in the late 1800s. She said, stand porter at the door of thought. And what I believe that she means by that, or meant by that in her writings, was that we need to stand clear about our thinking. That when we stand like a porter would at the door, ready to open the door or close the door to certain types of thinking, we stand porter at the door of thought in order to recognize that we choose our thoughts, and we can choose thoughts that create the highest and best life. And if we are creating and experiencing the highest and best life, if we're on that journey, then that creates more highest and best. It really becomes a landslide of goodness unfolding. And especially when you've got the appearances of war and rancor and a worldwide pandemic, which is, I think, the only kind of pandemic you can have. But anyway, I digress. When you've got all this stuff going on, we have to stand gently aware of our goodness and the possibility, the potentiality of love ever expressing. Even with all this war going on, even with all of this not health going on, there's more health in this universe than not health. There's more peace in this universe than not peace. That is my premise.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. Now I'm going to address something that most of our audience is probably thinking is like, but what does that got to do with me?
Mhm.
Oh, I mean, let's face it. We create the world according to what's going to make us feel good and be happy and be successful in life. And yeah, all of this stuff is going on in the world around me, and I can look at it and have compassion, you know, towards the people that are suffering from it. But in another sense, it's like, okay, but what about me? What do I choose? And you always talk about we get freedom of choice. What am I going to choose to focus on? And when I work with my clients, I go right back to the spiritual principles all the time. You're working with an unlimited power and presence. It's not withholding anything from you. And your life is unfolding in perfect order according to the plan for your life, which is a life full of joy and happiness and ease and grace and everything flowing. And you were created for a specific purpose in life, and that you're meant to fulfill that purpose. And you're not fulfilling it because you're looking at this movie that's going on in your life right now, the illusion, you know, and you're looking at it and saying, but this is what's happening in my life. And I'm saying, and I work with my clients and I say, no, this isn't happening. It's only happening because you believe it to be happening, and you can change that. And so for me, it's about changing, choosing. What do I want to focus on?
Mhm.
Focus on what makes me happy, what makes me joyful, what makes me feel elated, excited about my projects and stuff like that. When I'm working on a project and I'm in the flow of it, I feel excited. Life is just amazing. And I'm sure a lot of my clients that are, you know, filmmakers and creators in the entertainment business have experienced this. And when you're not, and the movie that you're watching is, you know, you sitting in front of the TV eating bonbons going, I wish I were fulfilling my purpose in life and my dream, then it's hard to change your thoughts, to be able to see this thing as an illusion and not buy into it. So I'm going to ask you, Dean, the same thing I came up with when I was writing the screenplay years ago. It kept coming up for me. It's like, well, how do I change my thoughts? One of the characters, like, you're saying, change your thinking, change your life. How do I change my thoughts? I can't change my thoughts. These are just thoughts.
Well, that really brings us back to the essential quality of monitoring gently. That's what meditation is all about. Where your thoughts are, the kind of thoughts you have naturally begun to think. And that's one of the wonderful things about meditation. I particularly like Vipassana meditation because it just lets your brain just keeps going and going and going. And it's kind of like meditation is kind of, I loved Dr. Mark used to say, a mentor of mine used to say, it's kind of like training a puppy. Meditation is you take the puppy, you put it back on the paper. It goes off, you put it back, lovingly put it back on the paper. It goes off, does the thing, you clean up after it, you put it back on the paper. With meditation, you're constantly allowing yourself to lovingly bring your mind back to that center point and recognize that you have thoughts. Once you recognize that you have thoughts which you are thinking and are not thinking you, that comes when you have a higher perspective of your you-ness, that you are more than your thinking, you are more than your body. And once you determine that you have that, I was going to say separation, but it's not exactly separation. Once you have that perspective, you can begin to curate your thoughts slowly and surely, one by one. Probably not when you're in the middle of a major health crisis. Probably not when you're in the middle of a war. This may not be the time to start meditation, or it may be the perfect time to make meditation. You're the one that decides.
Yeah.
You move your thoughts through recognition to choice. Slowly.
Yeah.
slowly. And that comes through that confidence that you build as you bring yourself into alignment with spiritual principles that you are studying. This whole process goes with there are so many different facets of it. It's wonderful, this whole spiritual process. But
It's a way of life, you know?
it's a way of life.
A way of life that you can just, yeah. It's just
When you
becomes a way of life.
see it's a way of life, and when you see that your way of life can be enhanced and you can contribute to the way of life of those around you, there are those who are going to be listening to this as well, who are deeply motivated to address the war condition, deeply motivated, as our first responders have been, to addressing the pandemic. When you are deeply motivated, that is where your calling is. And when you choose to follow that calling, there you have your purpose.
Yeah.
Thank God we have people fulfilling all kinds of purposes, people fulfilling creative, artistic purposes, medical purposes, scientific purposes, political purposes, educational purposes. These are what we're called to do. And you can use all of these techniques within the confines of your chosen pursuit.
Yeah. And you mentioned meditation. So what I wanted to bring up is the whole idea of our confidence tapping meditation that we do, where we use tapping and meditation. And that's a great way if you have challenges, taming the puppy dog of the mind, the monkey mind, then that's a real easy way to be able to tap and do affirmative meditations. So tell them about that, Dean. I think we're almost done with that time, but
we are almost out of here. Thank you all for joining us on New Thought Live. We, of course, are newthoughttuesdays.com is where you can go to find out more about us and get reminders for our New Thought Tuesdays discussions, where we bring the whole community in after we've had about a 20-minute discussion on a topic. We're all on a Zoom link and we can discuss what we're called to discuss. And it's a vibrant discussion. I look forward to seeing you guys there. We both do. Go to newthoughttuesdays.com, sign up for our reminder, and we'll send you the private link to the Zoom meeting. But also at newthoughttuesdays.com, you can find our 5-day confidence tapping challenge. And it's a love offering that we offer to you. The best fun I've had in the longest time with you, Rich, putting this thing together. Everybody get on it, do it, comment on it. Let us know how it goes for you. Send us your emails. We want to hear all about it. And we want to see you tomorrow on New Thought Tuesdays.
Yeah. Come and join us on New Thought Tuesdays tomorrow, because you'll be able to jump in on the conversation. So we talk for maybe 10, 15 minutes, and then we go ahead and invite people up on stage to have a conversation, so you can, talk to us and we can help you discover, how do you break through that illusion of lack, limitation, fear, doubt, and worry? See the truth that you are infinite. You are an infinite being.
So sending our love to our community. Thank you for being there. You are a blessing and it is a joy. So thank you, sir. I'm out of here.
Okay. We'll see you too.